Okay, if we could please call to order, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Piazmino?
Present.
Trustee Consolino?
Present.
Trustee Fialco?
Present.
Trustee Laha?
Present.
Trustee Reinders?
Present.
Mayor Yukich?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Recognition.
I'll take it over, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Village Board meeting and the Homer Glen Big Tree Champion Contest for 2022. Welcome to the awards night for the Village of Homer Glen Big Tree Champion Contest. This is the 4th year for the contest, and we are pleased that we will be adding 2 new tree species to the Big Tree Champion list, a pine oak and a blue spruce. We also discovered a locust, a willow and a bur oak, and a white oak larger than the previous champions, and bald cypress that tied with the 2018 winner. This is an important award that recognizes the need to appreciate and protect the natural environment within the village of Homer Glen. Champion trees are individual trees which are exceptional examples of their species because of their size, their age, and their rarity. The village of Homer Glen was founded and incorporated in large part due to the desires of its citizens to preserve the unique and diverse components of the natural environment within the village, also taking steps to assist in further protection and beautification of that environment. Through the efforts of the Environment Committee, the village created the Big Tree Champion Contest, which is what we're doing now. The awards recognize citizens that have helped to identify and preserve the biggest of our most mature trees in the village.
We have 6 winners in this year's Big Tree Champion Contest, and during the award presentation, Mayor George Yukich and the Environment Committee Chair, Trustee Ruben Piazmino, will present the award certificates to the recipients. Pictures will be taken as the certificates are presented, and these photos will also be available for viewing on the Village of Homer Glen website. Our first award goes to Ryan and Skylar Chata, who have identified a pin oak tree with a circumference measurement of 113.5 inches. Thank you. Our second award goes to the Morella family. They have identified a blue spruce tree with a circumference measurement of 100 inches. Thank you. Next is the Cirillo family, who have identified a willow tree with a circumference of 160 inches. This tree replaces the 2018 Willow Tree Champion. Are they here? Next was a very pleasant surprise that would be to Marth Construction for preserving a stand of white oak trees as part of the proposed villas of Old Oak residential development along 143rd Street. Within this stand of trees was identified a white oak tree with a circumference of 141 inches and a bur oak tree with a circumference of 151 inches. Is anybody here? Okay. And next, the following two award recipients were unable to attend the meeting tonight. First is Christine Catola from 14655 Teal Drive, who has been a steward for a locust tree in the parkway measuring 129 inches in circumference. This tree replaces the 2021 locust tree champion. And the other family is the Williams family of 12135 Edgewood. This resident has a bald cypress tree with a circumference measurement of 60 inches. This tree ties with the 2018 bald cypress tree champion. Thank you all for attending this evening and showing your support for the important award event. Mayor Yukich, Trustee Pazmino, and the village trustees, thank you for your support. A special thank you to the Environment Committee members, Joe Therese and Melissa King, for organizing and coordinating this contest. A special thank you to Joe for going out and measuring the tree nominations. Thank you.
Next would be public comment. First would be Barbara Fidzikowski.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Fidzikowski and I live on Circle Park Court off of 163rd Street. At the last village meeting, the concept plan for the new Dunn Farm development was officially presented. As a resident that utilizes 163rd Street, I'm here to make you aware of the safety issues we encounter way too often. 163rd Street from Cedar Road to Evergreen on the east is a narrow two-lane road that has no shoulder, no median, no sidewalk, no curbs, no speed bumps or stop signs. 163rd Street is not a road, it is a speedway. This street is utilized by the residents that live in Evelyn's Gate, Homer Township, Victoria Crossings, and Evergreen. Daily, hundreds of cars and service trucks use 163rd Street. The speed limit is set at 30 miles per hour. Unfortunately, way too many of these drivers do not adhere to that limit. At a minimum, their speed is 40 miles per hour. Some of these drivers even speed much higher than that. We have young drivers that use this street like a drag race and has driven as fast as 90 miles per hour. Residents who want to take a walk or ride their bike along 163rd Street are subject to potentially risking their lives to these lawless drivers. Mailboxes have been hit, near misses have occurred, cars have veered off the road into residents' parkways, and screeching is heard way too often. Many complaints have been filed with the Sheriff's Department and other government entities with no resolutions made. The proposed Dunn Farm development will have 259 new residences, which will potentially introduce an additional 518 cars into the traffic pattern of this area, not to mention their guests or service trucks. As it stands, residents living from the middle point of the development to the southern part have closer and more convenient access into and out of the development using Isbrook Drive, which is in Evelyn's Gate, and the new Newport Drive connecting road, which both access 163rd Street. That's 57 single-family homes and approximately 44 duplex ranches, which amounts to over 200 cars belonging to those residents, plus their guests and service trucks, all using 163rd Street as their main thoroughfare. I also want to mention the intersection of 163rd and Cedar. Currently, it is poorly lit and only has 4-way stop signs that are not easily seen.
You have 30 seconds, ma'am.
Inconsiderate drivers will make partial stops, not wait their turn, or run totally through the stop signs. I understand that there have been a number of accidents at this intersection. Apparently, at one time, there were discussions with Will County to install a stoplight, but nothing ever came to fruition. At the workshop, many of you voiced your approval for the proposed plan with some feedback. Yes, the plan may be attractive and also follow our open space ordinance. However, if the speeding and other safety issues of 163rd Street are not resolved, we, the current residents, will be faced with even more dangerous situations than what we are already dealing with now. God forbid something tragic is to happen because we were more concerned with beauty and open spaces. I also have here a signed letter of ideas that all of us residents on Circle Park Court have signed, and I'd like to present it to all of you, if I may. I have enough copies. I have enough copies for the trustees and the mayor. So, thank you.
Next, we have Matt Glen. Good job.
Good evening, Matt Klein, and I'm here with Jim Marth. We're here in regard to the village discussion of the proposed dedication of the treat area in Old Oak, Villas of Old Oak subdivision. So we're here if you have any questions. Really, we're responsive, not a affirmative comment.
Okay. All right, next would be John Walters.
Lou, first of all, congratulations, Mrs. America. You did a great job. I'm here once again to speak about the special village board meeting on June 17th about the allegations of a forged signature on the Homerfest liquor license. This special meeting was signed by George. I hope it was signed by George. We have to get to the bottom of this to see who signed this or who didn't sign it. This is a cloud that's hanging over everybody's head that works at the village or comes in and out of here. It's just got to be resolved somehow. I don't know what the current status is, but I don't want this to fall off and not be addressed. Everybody is a suspect in this, that they forged the signature, and I think we need to get to the bottom of this. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Mike Carlson.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Carlson. Thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate it. I just want to compliment on some things that I've seen over the years here for the trustees that are sitting around us now. Dan Fiocco, Rose Reiners, Ruben Pazmino, Nicole Laha, and Jennifer Consolino. You guys have done an outstanding job for what you guys do. I know it's not about money or anything else. You guys cleaned up messes. You made new stuff. You created a lot of good things for this town. You guys are the heart and soul of this town. And you gave us God, which is right over there. Mr. See, I'm not his friend, so I can't remember his name, but Carmen Morella. So I just want to say that I have, out of the 17 people that had Carmen Morella's job, never even lived in Homer Glen. He lives in Homer Glen. He's a citizen, and he has done one of the most outstanding jobs out here for village manager. working with me for the Homer Stallions with the sprinklers and the water over there. Just fabulous work. I've never seen a village manager be on top of anything. I've never seen these trustees ever be on top of anything. They are all over the place, and they are really, really taking care of us citizens. If I had to vote again, I would definitely vote for the people that are sitting there right there. The people that I named are the most people that have done more than any trustee I have ever seen in this position. They're honest, they're good, they're clean, and they make this town worth living in and a better community for everybody. Thank you.
Next would be reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. I'll start off because I'm supposed to. Today we went to Rosati's Pizza. They just opened up their new parlor on 14218 South Bell. Pizza was absolutely wonderful, and I think they should, let's try them out and see what happens with it, but pizza for me was wonderful. Second, I agree. Congrats to Nikki. I am very proud of you. You know, like I said, inside and out, you're beautiful. So we'll go to the trustees. We'll start with Mr. Fialco.
Thank you, sir. Report on the fest. The only thing that I have to report on the fest at the moment is we'll be coming up with the fest budget at the next meeting in September, which is the first Wednesday at 5:30 in the back room here at the Village Hall if you care to attend. Now to the main subject. Nicole. Nicole, you have set a new high benchmark for the Miss America title. You are a fiery competitor, a humble winner, and you have brought great pride to our nation, our state, and our village of Homer, Glen. You have always impressed me as a leader that holds many winning titles by not just saying you're going to do something, you take and embrace the challenges before you by moving forward and working tirelessly until you have brought the goals of the challenge to fruition with the high standards and expectations that you have set on yourself. Congratulations, and good luck with the Miss Universe pageant in December. That's my report, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Reiner.
Nikki, what could I say? You put Homer Glen on the map. We are so proud of you, and your passion to advocate for people with disabilities is like nothing this village has ever seen before. Our park and our grocery stores are now more accessible because of your efforts. I know moving forward the sky is going to be the limit. I know it, girlfriend. I know it is. And your fight for inclusivity and accessibility is never going to end. And with that, I just want to say congratulations. We love you, and we're so proud of you.
Well, it's you next.
I didn't want any pageants put on that.
Trustee Pasmino.
Yeah, mine was off.
Basically, I hear everything that the other trustees talked about. I mean, you're an inspiration to this town. I was at my restaurant and everybody was talking about you. And especially the little girls were talking about you. You're it. And we're really proud of you. We've always been. And thank you for everything you do. Aside from all that TV stuff, you are an inspiration to this town. You've done the special needs committee. You've done things that other people just talk about. You did it. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Okay, you ready? Trustee Lahat.
All right. Well, I don't think I can put into words how proud I was to stand up on stage this last week for 12 days. Being able to say that I was from Homer Glen, being able to talk about the things that we as a board and a community have done, people are interested in how we've done things and how we continue to do things, and it's a really good feeling because that's why I do this. That's why I decided to compete, and that's why I'm going to continue with my advocacy. My children are everything to me, and sometimes you go through pain and you find your purpose, and I have no doubt in my mind that I found my purpose when Ashlyn came into our lives. I think Ashlyn has touched a lot of our lives, and so I'm very proud. Thank you for the support. Homer Glen has been, people from all the way in Vegas, we're hearing people from Homer Glen reaching out. So this little town has my heart, and so thank you so much. I don't have a report. I haven't been here. I was gone and now I'm back, but we've got a lot of work to do, and I'm up for the challenge. So thank you so much for everybody, your support. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Consolino.
Okay, I want to keep this brief because I don't want to be another crier on the board. Trustee Laha, not only am I very proud of you, but this entire board is very proud of you. So are our staff. You're not just a mentor for our community, but you are to your family, you are to your friends. It's a lot to be proud of. It isn't just about being Mrs. America. It's in everything that you do and everyone that you touch. Okay, so now stop crying. I'll remind everybody, since I'm on public safety, that it is back to school month and the littles are out there. So I just want to remind everyone to please be patient and please be cautious when you're driving around at rush hour in the morning. Please be mindful that there will be, buses picking up the school children at their stops, and that there will be a little bit more congestion at drop off, around the schools, and then also at pickup. So please slow down, and welcome back to school, everybody.
Thank you. Next would be village clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I do not have a report, but Nicole, I do echo everything that everybody else has said on this board. They couldn't have said it better. So congrats.
Okay, village attorneys. We'll go with Eric first.
Very briefly, Trustee Laha, congratulations. As the father of two daughters, I've always been on the lookout for wonderful role models, and you are a fantastic role model. So congratulations, well done. Thank you.
So much.
Carrie, you have anything?
I do not have a report, but I'd like to congratulate Trustee.
Thank you.
Next would be public safety officials.
No report.
Thank you. Next would be consent agenda. Oh. Circle the You didn't win the pageant, so you don't get the
Whatever your name is over there.
Thank you, George.
Carmen.
Well, Nicole, I got to say, being a father of a special needs and in Humble's family, you have shown that in everything you do. And us here at the village, we call ourselves the village people, are very proud and excited that you represent us in this village. So thank you very much. Okay, with that said, going into my report, I just want to bring it up that we got some Market in the Glen. We got 2 more occasions for Market in the Glen, the first and third Thursday of the month. I also want to bring up in September, on the 10th, we are going to be hosting a senior lifestyle expo at Hadley Middle School. And I'm really excited about this because we're doing a committee with the library, the township, and the village, and working together to bring education, empower our elder adults to remain independent and connect them with the services available in our community. And I think this is really exciting because I've heard the Social Security Administration is going to come out to answer questions. I know the assessor's office will be out there to answer questions, and a lot of our seniors don't get those questions answered. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to get out there. And they're bringing a lot of people involved to get this community together for these opportunities so our seniors can understand what we do for them in our community, and I think it's very important, and I'm very proud to be helping them with that. So, and that's all my report is.
Thank you, Carmen. Next would be consent agenda.
All right, number 1, consider for approval the accounts payable for a period of August 12th, 2022 through August 25th, 2022 in the amount of $569,356.56. Number 2, consider for approval the treasurer's report of cash and investments for the period ending June 30th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Okay. You want to call roll, please?
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Thank you. Next would be legislation and action items. Consider for approval the appointment of James Rhodey and Michael Bonomo to the Homer Community Festival Committee.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd like to just say, Mr. Rhodey and also Mike Bonomo, when we had the fest this past year and we had lost a few people that had other things to do, these were some of the first people to step up to the plate. We had filled the roles of the people that had left, but these two gentlemen were there to help just the same. And I'm looking forward to working with them. Mr. Rhodey, Jay Rhodey, he's a longtime resident of Homer Glen. He's got a great deal of electrical construction knowledge. He has 32 years of experience in that field. Mr. Bonomo has also been part of the Homer Township, Homer Glen community for 20 years. He's always made a point of helping the community. When elected as a Homer Township trustee, he was selected to chair the senior committee, and I recommend a yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you want to call the roll?
Trustee Pazmino?
Yes. Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next would be consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's June legal bills from Mahoney Silverman and Cross LLC in the amount of $2,047.50.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, consider for approval the contract for supplemental services for the Fittyman Creek Sanitary Sewer Cedar Road Extension with Robinson Engineering Limited in the amount of $8,700.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
The temporary easements, in this paragraph with background information, is this going to be the final cost of this, or are we anticipating more things to take place that'll cost more money than the 8? And I know this was a possibility when this came through. We approved the first part of this, and then I believe you were hired in between then and now. So I'm just asking where it says in that last, the second sentence before the end, temporary easements is needed. Does that phrase there, temporary easements is needed, mean that we may have additional cost with that?
It's my understanding that these will be the only temporary easements, the only additional temporary easements that we'll need for this alignment of the sanitary sewer at this time and for the future.
All right, and the rest of the project, as far as you've seen it so far, seems to be moving forward in the right direction?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 4, consider for approval the All-American Exterior Solutions proposal for the Village Hall roof replacement in the amount of $99,475 plus $125 per sheet of replaced roof sheathing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
The question I do have, and we talked about a little bit earlier, but I want to make sure we're clear, we're still working on the RFP to work in conjunction with the roof and taking care of the fascia on the building, correct?
Yeah, we got some estimates that came a little high, so we're going to have to go for RFP to get some work done for those soffit and fascias, but we're working on getting it done.
All righty. And then that $125 per sheet, is that 5/8 wood, or is that, did they give the size of it? Because it's usually a 4x8 sheet, but is it 5/8
It would match whatever's on the existing
I'm
roof
sorry,
now.
Joe?
It would match whatever's on the existing roof now.
And do we know what's up there right now?
We do not until that's,
I just don't want them to say, once they tear the old roof off, then say it's not 5/8, so we need to replace it all. And that surprises us at the last minute.
we have a variety of different spacing with the joists and the rafters in this building, so it may vary across the length of the building, but they're tied in per that sheet cost, per their RFP, so I don't anticipate any additional per sheet costs arising.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question on page 2, the bidder list, and this is just general question. Under preferred contractor, Oak Construction, they have a yes and a no, and Filato Construction has a yes and a no. Why do they have both?
There was, I'm assuming, because I did not handle this when it went out, but I'm assuming there was a portion of it that they may have submitted as part of their preferred contractor.
Yeah, the full package wasn't submitted.
And a portion of it was, but it wasn't a complete submittal.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Is that the reason why we went with All-American, though, at this point? Because they weren't the lowest bidder, but they did meet criteria.
They did meet all the criteria that we requested in the original RFP, as well as their past experience working with other municipalities was quite extensive, and I did do some checking with them, and they were quite satisfied with their work.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Are there any other questions or concerns? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Prezmino?
Yes, aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, consider for approval rebranded park entry signs and signs for 4 remaining village parks in the amount of $13,696.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Mayor, this is basically the parks that that were donated from the township. This is basically just rebranding the last remaining parks. So we've actually agreed to this on our committee.
Okay. Is there any other comments or concerns?
That was going to be my question, if it had gone through the committee. 'Cause
Yes, it
I
has.
did not see that in the...
Yes, it
In the
has.
draw, in the write-up. Is that what the rest of the signs cost, $3,500 per sign?
Yes.
For each part?
Yes,
That comes down, okay. Thank you, Rose.
you're welcome.
And we did go out to bid for those, too.
Yes, we did.
So just to make that clear. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fielko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Prezmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, consider the approval, resolution number 22008, a resolution to adopt the goals and primary objectives of the Economic Department Marketing Plan, open for business.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
I think this is a very nice tool. Now, Janie's probably going to go over, I'd like her to go over this a little bit, after we finish discussing it, but I think this is something that not only our residents need, our businesses, anybody that wants to cooperate in Homer Glen as far as participating with us. The Economic Development Marketing Plan pretty much goes over why we do what we do as far as development, as far as the types of businesses that we acquire, what our game plan is. This is very concise, very detailed, and it's accessible to anybody who wants to inquire about it. And I think this is the first step in our development here, our proper, slow development of Homer Glen.
And also, basically, this is a living document, so as times change and our comprehensive plan changes, we can make adjustment to this as well.
I also want to thank Janie for coming up with this document and putting all your work in it. It's an amazing start to the direction that we want to go. Thank you very much. Take it from here. I don't know unless anybody else has.
Yeah, is there any other questions or concerns? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Well, we wanted Janie to talk about it a little bit.
I think she talked about it at the last
Actually, there's not much more I can add to what the two trustees already said about it. I think they encapsulated the spirit of what the plan is all about. It's meant to be a planning tool. It does have flexibility because what you're adopting by resolution would be the goals and key objectives of the plan, but the actual strategies which were already enumerated in the current situation right now can be adjusted as new opportunities come up. And then as there are actually policy changes, we would come back to the board with another resolution to change the direction that this plan would then follow. So it formalizes and acknowledges what the Economic Development Department does, but also provides that structured framework that can be shared and shown.
Thanks, Janie. I also want to thank the CED committee. They were very instrumental with the feedback and the material that we used to produce this document. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 7, consider to approve and execute an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Homer Glen and the Homer Township Public Library.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 8, consider to approve accepting the dedication to the Village of Open Space Outlot D in the Villas of Old Oak subdivision, subject to a final plat approval.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
For clarification, was that Trustee Trustee Pazmino or Trustee
I think it
Consolino?
was Pazmino.
That works.
Okay.
I won.
I have a discussion. Melissa, for this was one of the problems that I had at the Parks Committee. Not that I don't want this at all, I actually absolutely do. I was more concerned with how we're going to be able to take care of this. So, because we don't have an arborist, right? We don't have,
So
we don't.
if we would likely do what we do with the 319 grant area and have consultants provide services for.
So we would contract for it?
Yeah,
Okay.
long term, yeah.
Well, I had a
Until we
question.
grow,
I'm
if we have
sorry.
a problem,
Right,
so we have staff.
right.
Didn't this come up before in which there was going to be some sort of special assessment in the event that the village were to take over the maintenance of this property instead of
Yes.
them,
So
their
we-
HOA
we-
taking over?
We did establish a dormant SSA, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Trustee Pazmino, we did go through that motion. There is a dormant SSA established over the subdivision itself. And that could be utilized in order to maintain, like the pond, for instance, or the space, I guess, if it was left with the HOA, for instance. So if the HOA was in control of this property and not the village, and in 20 years they decided not to maintain it, it was full of invasives, it was potentially, there could be a safety issue with burns or whatever. And if that was to occur and we needed to step in, we could with that, if the HOA wasn't there, with that SSA. That's how you would utilize that.
So this decision that we made today would trigger.
This is different.
That SSA.
No, this is the village.
Different.
This is the village choosing to take this open space as our own property.
Gotcha.
Now, whose idea was that, though? Was that the builder, or was that us
Technically,
going
this,
to them?
technically that's in the code.
I'm sorry?
Technically, it's in the code. So the open space ordinance says that the village shall take the land. But we've never approved a project that's from the conservation ordinance, and we talked very early on. I spoke with Jim Marth. I said, I am not sure how the board's going to feel about this. We talked about it when it came in front of the board with the project. The decision was not made at that time about how this land would be conveyed. The developer is requesting that the village does take it. But I think ultimately that decision lies with the board.
Well, I think my only concern is, obviously, I really think this is a great idea to preserve it. I worry about, we have all these new parks that we have, and so my worry is how financially, do we have any sort of estimate of how this? We don't. This is going to be an additional cost to us as a village. So I know in the past, we have left it with HOAs before, and that's why we have the dormant clause. So that's why.
We don't have a strong history of setting up the SSAs in this village.
Right, we don't have a strong history of either.
Right.
So that's why I'm concerned.
Open space conveyance has ever happened. We just don't have this.
Right.
The first plan that's ever come through and been approved under the conservation ordinance. So.
Right, so I just want to make sure that we have the manpower and the finances to take care of something so beautiful properly.
Yeah. It's definitely not like mowing the lawn.
Right,
you know,
right, exactly, right.
I don't think it's even the cost of that. You know, I think this is not maintenance that you find that's quite as heavy, or the burning that happens out in the prairie. I'm not sure if it's that regular.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
There's more trees on that property than anything.
Right. Fully
But
treed.
there are structures still on there. So before they turn it over to us, all structures that we don't want listed as historic and saved to some regard will be removed and won't become our responsibility though, correct?
The structures, I think what will be left on the plan that's there now is the driveway that comes in, and it does, I was on the property this last week, and it comes all the way from 143rd Street to the back of the property, so there's full access. Jim, while they go into construction, they are going to be cleaning some of the undergrowth in there and removing dead trees. Trustee Fialco, and then also there's a few invasive species in there, some buckthorn and stuff that needs to be removed. So that is being taken care of ahead of time prior to it being conveyed to the village, which is helpful because it will come to us in a better condition than it currently.
I think in total it's what, 3.1 acres of trees we would be taking care of? Like that. 3.1 or 3.6, something along?
I think it's 3.6. I think it's a little higher than 3.
So I mean, it is a lot.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure it's maintained beautifully because this is a great opportunity for us. But I just don't know if we don't have anything put in place yet to do it.
So that would be mostly like, at the end of the day, what kind of, is it mowing, maybe a little tree trimming?
There's no grass, so it is fully forested.
Yeah,
in
so
there.
it's mostly natural, right? It's
Talking
mostly all
about
natural?
probably manual removal of invasive material in the undergrowth of the tree.
That's
and then
even better.
potentially if there's a tree fall that maybe is off the property. Now, I know the Forest Preserve, when they manage forests, they let the trees stay down. So unless we had public access in there, and I think we would deal with that when it happens, we would then have to remove a tree if it fell on a path or something, or if it falls in the driveway, we might want to leave it open so our staff can get in and out. But I think other than that, the tree falls usually stay because they become what's called a snag, which is becomes environment for habitat for wildlife. Yeah, so.
I don't remember exactly every detail to that project, but was there a plan to put a walking path through there, or there never was a walking path? I thought we spoke about it just a little bit, but I wasn't clear if we had accepted that as part of that or not.
We did not. There's no plan for one, Trustee Fialco, and there was discussion about it at Parks as well. I think Trustee Reiners brought that up, if we could put that in. I've been working with Attorney Horvath on some of the language, and the language in our easement that would go with this, if we were to take it, does allow us to develop within it, it says, consistent with the open space requirement regulations or consistent with goals and objectives of the Parks Master Plan. So the things that would be allowed in our under that guidance, we would be able to do in there if we wanted to, subject to board approval. So if we wanted to put a path, we probably could.
Right, and if I remember correctly, the southern portion of that project, though, there were houses on every spot available, and the park was going to the northeast quadrant. And my concern at this point in taking care of it is when somebody says, well, I want access to that area, it's open space, but I don't have a way to get there. I've got all these yards backed up there, and you're saying they're going to take the driveway out. So at that point, how would we handle it? Would that be considered part of maintenance, or to give somebody access to that property because it's open space and they want to be in there somehow for whatever reason it would be? I'm asking, would the maintenance portion of this take that into consideration, though, if we were to take that over and somebody wanted additional access? Would that be included? Would that be our responsibility?
If we took the land, it would be, and that would be up to the purview of the board. If they decided to make it accessible to the public, we could leave it as a preserve and not open to the public, except for our maintenance vehicles. There is a gate currently there that will stay. It has old limestone pillars next to it. That's what I'm recommending, is that that piece stay. I'm not sure of its functionality, but we could, make sure that it's functional so that it can be open and closed by our maintenance staff.
Melissa,
Sorry, go ahead.
we did.
Staying though, the road is staying in.
You're talking the driveway into
The driveway staying in.
That only makes sense, because then if you wanted to make a parking space for
Just right
5
off the
cars or
edge.
so,
Yep.
you could do that for the small piece that it is.
Pretty easily, yeah.
Melissa, we did discuss this in environment, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, and I think that was when poor trustee Pasmino had to go bolt and go to CED as well that night. So Ruben, we did discuss this. The consensus of the board was that we actually want to start doing what we're talking about with community, harmony, nature, and start taking on these open spaces.
I think we said that's exactly what
And
it was. We would take
we've just
it
never
over
done it before.
as long as it's minimal maintenance, and in the future, we could do trails, we could do whatever we want.
That's
but
my
right now would
concern,
be the
though.
minimal
That's my
maintenance.
concern is how much this is going to
Well,
cost.
that's
Yeah.
where we said minimal maintenance, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that was just my question, is we don't have any figures on how much this is going to cost us.
I think because the majority of it is all natural, so I think there's not really going to be much maintenance to it. It's trees and it's what's the undergrowth underneath the trees. So there's not like we're going to be going in there on a regular basis.
Right.
And mowing grass or doing.
No, my guess is there may be an annual maintenance thing,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have those details.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like acquiring a park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the maintenance will come once it evolves
Right.
into something.
Because the alternative is we don't take it and they still have to maintain it then.
Correct, and I do think that that's something to think about, because it's possible that the HOA doesn't want to maintain it either, and maybe it goes into just repair, and then it's code enforcement, or maybe we just don't say anything, and it.
So here's my question, assuming the HOA takes over, they pretty much would dictate what happens with this open land, the forestry, they could cut down trees, they could do whatever they
The
want.
conservation easement will still be on the land. It would just have different terms. It would be written, the way we've been drafting the language for the conservation easement is if the village were to take it. That's why we're talking about this tonight, because they're getting ready to prepare that final plat, and we need to know what that language is going to be on there. The language, if it was under the HOA, would be different.
Okay,
But
so
it would still protect the land.
Okay.
So
Still protect it?
Yes.
Okay.
the million-dollar question, I guess, is what is the benefit of the village taking this over? Is it the protection of the land?
Public access is, long-term is probably a benefit. I think environmental protection under our own care is also just the perception of that, of us caring, and, but I think public access is probably the biggest thing, because really, if this is under the HOA, the public will not have access to this. It
No.
will be under their ownership only. So if we wanted to put a path in there, we couldn't. That would not be an option.
What about the park that's in there? That's going to be public access though, correct?
The park is, yeah, on the northeast corner, yeah, totally separate, not even connected.
Well, right, but we could still, what's the difference? If the park has public access, how come this would not?
The park is being dedicated to us,
Okay,
100%.
okay.
Yeah, not up for, that's normally what we do every time. That becomes village property.
Okay. So then we maintain it as well?
I see the 50-foot marker in here, right, where the road is at. But beyond that 50-foot marker, I don't remember how many feet we are going into that piece of property that will remain as open space.
Oh, look, what is it, it's 3 point something acres?
Let's see.
Oh, okay, is it that?
You can see
Oh, okay,
that-
outlet the 100, so it's 185 feet? Which takes in a good distance. Do you know if that takes in, at that point, the barn that's still up there, when you go up the driveway to the west?
The
is that-
barn-
Because if it doesn't take in the
Does not,
barn
the
at all?
barn is inside the property.
Okay,
Yeah. Is outside the conservation area.
then I don't have to ask my next question. Which was I thought if the floor of the barn was cement,
Right.
you could save that as parking and have that driveway.
Oh,
into it.
yeah.
But being that it's into the project site, then that doesn't make sense.
Okay,
Thank you.
is there any other discussion on it? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pasmino? Yes. Trustee Laha? Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Next, consider approval of the contract B3 Trustees Engineering on the Aerospace West extension and authorizes village manager to sign a contract.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Rose?
What are you talking about?
I-9.
I know, but.
No, I'm
Oh,
excited.
I'm sorry. Okay, just so everybody's up to date on this, this was a project that was started from the previous board. It's the connection of the Heroes Trail from Culver Park to actually going under through ComEd and coming out to Heritage Park. And basically, we met with V3 and we actually asked them to move forward with this. So what they're going to be doing is they're actually working on a contract with ComEd because that is the next phase of this project. ComEd has to give us the okay to go ahead to start the project. And V3 is actually doing all the, applying for all the grants that would pertain to this.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Next is the workshop. Discussing and planning for a town center and use of the land.
So move.
Second.
Oh, discussion. Workshop. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it. There you go. I wrote a few things down on this. So a town center was discussed in the last two CED meetings with much enthusiasm by the entire committee. I think, as well as many residents and the majority of this board, that we need a town center. What will that do? This will create a few things. A congregating area for our residents and our neighbors to go on. Imagine parking in one area and simply walking around to different local shops, cafes, boutiques, and other businesses. Imagine a civic center or a town square in a nice little park in a grassy area that you will be surrounded by. This town center will bring Homer Glen more businesses and therefore more revenue. This will also help in keeping our property taxes at bay, since it will be a source of revenue. The rest will snowball from there. Once you lock in a certain business, the rest will follow suit. Of course, this would need to fit the unique character of Homer Glen. So the architecture and everything of the sort would have to fall under certain characteristics that we understand. It would be beautifully landscaped, and an absolute pedestrian-friendly area would need to be rampant. Some things can also lock into our trail system that we're looking to lock into a lot of our new subdivisions and current subdivisions. Now, I understand that many residents move to Homer Glen for the open space and the lack of congestion. I honestly do not think a quaint little town center will affect that at all. I've seen many rural communities with beautiful little downtown squares or town centers that will give that unique little bit of charm. We've all seen it on TV. You got that nice little town with the little village that everybody goes in and hangs out at, has discussions with, gossips at. Very nice. We have no intention of proposing a shopping mall or anything of the sort. That is not in our vision. There are also some residents that I've read who are worried that taxes may increase because this will be a big expense to our village. That is not the case. We have many other routes we can go. For example, finding investors, retail management companies, developers to buy the land, fund the construction, and then manage it. We also have certain grants that we can apply for, and there's a ton. The possibilities are endless, but never at the expense of our residents. Tonight's discussion is going to be about commencing the RFP process for land planning, which is the very preliminary stage of even thinking about doing something like this, but it is very important. So That's all I had to say. I'm very enthusiastic about this, talking to residents. This is something that everybody is thrilled about. Thank you very much.
I would also like to add to Trustee Pasmino's report that I did a lot of research on this, and I actually contacted a lot of different developers in urban sprawl across the United States, and this seems to be the wave of the future. People are not looking for big, huge downtown areas. They're not looking for areas where there's a lot of big box or a lot of congestion. So basically, this is the wave of the future. People want small gathering places. They want a place where they can come and they can listen to music, kind of like what you see in Burr Ridge. So basically, what I did is I actually went across the United States and looked at a lot of different, they call them urban areas or lifestyle areas. And this is something that is that would fit so perfectly within our village. So we're excited about that, and we look forward to trying to work with some land planners and some developers to be able to start this project.
Okay, any other discussion on it?
Janie, can I ask you a quick question? I don't know if you would remember, but I vaguely remember, was it Con Savoy that was the consultant? So didn't the survey, I can't remember the percentage, but I know it was a very large percentage with that survey, so that was either 2018 or 2019, where a lot of residents said that they wanted a downtown center, correct?
So I think the survey you may be talking about was the National Citizen Survey that was
Okay.
done for the strategic plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been related to the strategic plan.
I have that. I can give it to you.
Okay,
I have the
thank
booklet
you.
of it.
But it was, do you remember, it was a
There was a
very
town
high-
center. It was number 3.
Okay, but it was, yes, it was a very high number that wanted.
It was number 3,
the
yeah.
town center, and that's.
It was more parks for younger children. There was one in between there, and then, and then number 3 was a town center.
Yeah, I think restaurants, the survey that Janie, that we talked about in the CED committee was restaurants were actually at the top of the list. And then it went on from there, yeah.
Thank you.
The Economic Development Marketing Plan, by the way, that you saw earlier tonight, actually has a synopsis of those findings right in it up front, because that was very salient to
Yeah.
what directs the work there, so.
Anything else? Okay, we'll go into old business. Is there any old business?
Yes, sir. My old business question. Block cameras, we're still at 2, yeah?
Correct.
Lieutenant Taylor, see here. I'm going to assume you haven't heard of anything, Carmen, as far as any crime solved with the block camera? I have not heard anything. Okay. The other thing that I'd like to say under old business, if I can, Clark Mosquito has done such a great job this year. I made the comment not too long ago. What happened to all the mosquitoes in Homer Glen that they get COVID? Whatever process that we use this year, I think has worked very well, being that they had, in Will County, they had found West Nile virus and Zika in Will County. So we took the initiative to make sure that the citizens in Homer Glen were protected through Clark Mosquito. But the reason I say that is because now it's been completed to give you the information that you need on the website. Matt in the back there took care of it. He put it on the front page of the village website, which is homerglenil.org, and then it's, if you scroll down from there, it gives you all the information. Matter of fact, it gives you the video clip of Jack Pemish, I think, or Flemish. I forgot his last name, but I think it's Jack Pemish. He came in and gave a speech and talked all about the Clark Company and the abatement process and the chemicals that are used. Also, that was added on there is the MSDS. Matt added that on there, so you've got access to that. So if anybody has any concerns, that's right on the front page of the website for the village that you can take a look at it.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. The other thing that we were talking about last meeting was codifying legal expenses. Just so everybody's clear, the budget for legal counsel is $175,000 for this fiscal year, not the $65,000 that was put out there for a short period of time. So there's no reason to codify it at this time. We're doing fine, I believe, in legal expenses between all attorneys within the village. $58,000 has been spent, and we still have $117,000 still left in the budget. So that would cover everything I have under old business, sir.
Thanks for that, Dan.
Next would be new business.
Anybody? I do have something. Under new business, salt. We talked about this last year. Director Woods, I want to make sure that we have that process started. I don't know what was left over from last year. And the process, it took a little bit of time last year. We were a little worried, but it all came together, and we had the salt ready for winter. So can you tell me where we're at?
Yes. I spoke with Jack Ack of the Illinois Department of Central Management Services, who handles the salt contract for the state, which is where the salt bid for the state. They are in the award process right now for it. They have all their bids in, they were opened. They're awaiting some final paperwork from the prospective winner of the bid. They're not releasing the name until they actually do the award. As soon as that paperwork is submitted, that there will be a 14-day objection period, and after that 14-day objection period, the bid will be awarded and will be set. He did want to point out to me that if it makes anybody feel any better, they're far ahead of where they were last year at this time in the process. As far as what we had left, we have about 1,200 tons left in the shed, which represents anywhere from 30 to 40% of our total use from the previous year. So we're pretty well set in the shed with the treated salts.
All right. To hold us over for a couple months at least. Right?
That will hold us over for
maybe could you make sure that you keep us informed as you go through that process, and that we then will feel safe and or knowing that we have what we need to.
Sure. I will update you in between board meetings as well. So.
All right. Thank you.
Any other new business?
Under new business, yes, one more thing. Mr. Morella and I have been speaking about EMA and the EMA building that we rent for $5,000 a month, $5,240 a month. I believe there's a couple units over there, and we'd like to start looking at possibly bringing that over here and we're going to walk it down and see what we have, because now that we've got the building over here to the public service building, and we've got the shed, and between those two items and not knowing exactly how much room we need, right now we're spending $5,240 a month. That's $60,000 a year, or over 10 years, that's almost $1 million, well, it's $600,000. So we just thought the village's money could be better spent if we looked at possibly moving or building something here on the property now that we have all this property, and some of it had been given to us from the township. We're thinking that we may have room to do that. So I'd just like to, if with the blessings of this board, you know, we'd like to move forward in taking a look at that and seeing what we could do to reduce the cost in the long term of renting from over on Anaco Drive.
Have at it.
Agreed. Mr. Robinson asked many times.
I think at that time we didn't have the property that we have now. And now that we've acquired the football field and all that property from the township, I think that may open things up a little bit, and we may now have the room that we didn't have before. So.
Any other business? Jerry, do we have any executive?
Thank you, Mayor.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. You beat me to it.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Good night, everyone.